Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about
Books.
libros. Is that right?
Yeah, I think sounds right.
We're ashamed to all Mexicans. Let's see. Spanish to English. Nope, stop. Libro. Book! We did it! You know what's embarrassing?
What?
Jake often knows more Spanish than me.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Shame.
He's about as white as it gets. I think he's really smart and he has a really good memory, and I have a terrible, awful memory, so...
Yeah. If you're not using it, it's gone. Bye.
Yeah. I think my brain, prioritizes... I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if I have, repressed memories, because I feel like I don't remember a lot of things. Especially from our childhood.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like lots of people don't remember their childhood as much.
Really? I feel like every single person I encounter in real life, can list everything that they did as a child.
Oh my gosh. Maybe everyone's different, because, I just see people saying, oh, fuck, I don't remember. Johnny doesn't remember a lot. He can't tell me when he hit puberty. He can't tell me so much about his childhood. He does not know.
Yeah, that's, okay. At least I'm not alone. Because I feel like such an idiot. Oh my god, okay. I, on one of my very first dates with Jake, I was, struggling to, come up with conversation topics because I'm super awkward like that.
Relatable.
So I asked him about his grandparents. Because we had exhausted, our immediate families, I guess. So I asked him about his grandparents. And he started, telling me their life story. How they met, what they did for work, and then how their careers transitioned over time. And I was like,
damn.
Bruh. When he was done, he was...
a good relationship with them.
Yeah, but when he was done, he asked me about my grandparents. And I was like, they used to have a store.
Right?
I don't know anything about... Oh, that makes me sad now.
As kids, we were basically shooed away to hang out with the other kids while the adults hung out. So we didn't really get to know any of them. Aunts, uncles, cousins. And it's just stuff that dad shit talking, whoever. And that's all we knew.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know that Katrina, our cousin, had a very different relationship with Granny and Grandad than we did. She would call Granny, every weekend. And I'm, wondering why, I guess, our relationships with our grandparents were so different when it's the same people.
Well, they're raised by different parents. Different style of home life, I guess.
Well, yeah, I imagine it's something like that, but I wonder what exactly makes the difference.
To call Granny.
Right. And I feel like we also were just maybe so much more socially anxious.
Yeah.
Calling people was always a nightmare.
Makes me just thinking about making any phone call makes me physically sick. No.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I've gotten a lot better over time, but it's still I prefer calling people than getting a phone call. Getting a phone call makes me freak out. No matter who it's from, if someone's calling me, I'm like, oh god, I start coming up with a million like excuses for why I couldn't answer my phone, like so I can text them back afterwards and be like, oh, what did you need? Sorry, I couldn't answer my phone, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. But I don't mind calling other people as much, I guess, because I know more what to expect when I call someone versus when they're calling me. I'm like, fuck.
The opposite, I guess. I can't stand making phone calls. I feel like I'm bothering people.
I see. I know I never call my friends. Like, it's not that kind of call. The only type of the only type of phone calls I make are to like the CRA when I need to change my address or something. That sort of thing.
Like, even then, I have a hard time calling companies that are being paid to take calls, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna piss them off. They're gonna get so bothered by me.
Aww.
It's really hard.
Yeah, I feel like maybe working in retail has kind of toughened me up to that sort of thing, because I've dealt with like the stupidest people on the phone ever, and I'm like, there's no way I'm this stupid. So I feel like, I guess, a bit more confident about myself on the phone when I'm talking to someone who's working, because I know they've dealt with like the dumbest shit. So
I think if you're polite, like, they're happy.
Yeah, that's like, even if someone's like a fucking idiot, sure, it's annoying, but if they're like trying, then you can't hate on them too much. Yeah. Anyway, A Storm of Swords.
Yes.
How did that happen? That happened so much.
Know. God, it's like we get distracted with each other.
Okay, well, we're back. We're recording again. So I'll explain to the people, my screen blinked off while we were recording, and we just finished recording all of Sam's chapter, but it didn't actually record, so we have to go back and read all of that.
Okay.
Fuck.
Did it record what happened last time?
I don't even think it
blink
did.
off?
I don't even know if it got our tea. We were still talking about the fucking... It was like 7 minutes in.
We were talking about
like phone calls.
We probably don't have the tea.
No, I'm so mad right now.
Fuck.
Why did that happen? It's never done that before.
Fuck.
All right.
In the mood.
Yeah. This episode's fucking ruined. All right, what are you drinking, real quick?
I'm drinking vanilla Earl Grey.
Wow, that's different from last time. No more ginger.
I like that ginger stuff. Ginger is delicious.
Yeah. But vanilla Earl Grey, as I said last time, how can you go wrong with that? Sounds amazing. I'm gonna be in a mood for the rest of this.
Until Sam is done, then it's like, oh, yay!
Ugh. So sucky. We, like, had some good content.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay. How about your peppermint tea?
I'm drinking peppermint vanilla, and it's very meh. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. So we're going to be reading chapter, Tyrion, chapter. Sam! Tyrion, and Catelyn. Last we heard of Sam. Is it still recording?
Yeah.
Last we heard of Sam was from the beginning of the book, where, Chet was about to kill him, and then the 3 horn blasts occur. Tyrion agrees to let Shay stay against his wishes in order to the death of Simon Silvertongue. And with Catelyn, Robb married Jane Westerling, destroying their pact with the Frey.
Yes. I'm just trying not to punch something right now.
Alright. So I'm gonna do Sam again. So the Night Watch are traveling as far away from the pit.
Wait, first, can you just pretend that every time I butt in, it's your first time hearing it?
Sure. Trying to sound enthusiastic. Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Woo, Sam! I almost said Samwise. Haha, wrong character. You made that joke last time.
I forgot. There's two Lord of the Rings references in this chapter. Dang.
Wait, where's the other one? Legolas. Okay, we'll get to that.
The Night's Watch are traveling as far away as they can from the fest. I think they're heading back to Castle Black. Sam is sobbing his eyes out. He's really scared and he's in a lot of pain. It's very cold and he's physically and mentally exhausted. It's also blizzarding. Not relatable. We don't get blizzards here.
No, I just mean I'm mentally exhausted.
Oh. It's blizzarding. He's covered in snow. The snot, the tears, and all of that jazz are freezing on his face. He's just really uncomfortable. He desperately wants to sleep, but he knows they will die. Oh, he will die. Or they will die.
Yeah, everyone's gonna die if he sleeps.
Yeah. If they stop, they will die because of how cold it is. So they gotta keep going, keep moving. 50 of them have escaped the fist. A few of them have died along the travels. Run.
Just
run
from
away.
like being cold,
Or like exhaustion. Some had wounds. Some people were like super messed up after seeing the others and succumbed
to what?
I
The
guess,
horror?
I guess, or delirium, or just wander off top, muttering to themselves.
Oh, ew. It did kind of sound like you said they were messed up.
They were messed up, yeah.
Like they did a bunch of crystal and then wandered off muttering into the woods.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. Sam, again, is very tired. He has to constantly remind himself he is going to die to keep himself going. What was the thing you said last time about the other step? Took another step, sobbing.
Yeah. It repeats 6 times within like a dozen paragraphs. Sobbing, Sam took another step. So that phrase repeated 6 times.
Yeah. I guess this is like torture.
Yes.
Having to travel through the snow, be so tired, so exhausted, and witnessing something super traumatic.
Yeah, and it's like that endless, like that's the only thing.
Just keep going.
In his head is just like
suffering.
step. And then also thinking about the trauma he just experienced.
Yeah, the suffering he's going through.
Yeah, I think I said last time too that the feeling of slogging along is like very real.
It's relatable for most people, I would say.
Yeah, like you're just so exhausted and you feel like you have to stop, but your feet just keep moving.
You just keep going.
I feel like that was me back in like high school when we were doing the 5K runs.
Yeah, those were the worst.
Yeah, it was like if you stop, it's so much harder to start again. So I would just kind of like
keep going. Damn.
Keep going and going and going and yeah.
Hardcore. I usually walk to them.
I was a tryhard though.
Yeah, you were. Very much.
I think only one time I was able to run the whole thing without stopping. That's 5 kilometers, by the way.
Yeah.
How many miles is that? Let's see.
3? I don't know.
Kilometers to miles. Yeah. Nice. 3.1 miles.
Hell yeah.
Well done.
Yes. He prays to the mother for mercy, briefly thinks about his own mother and his little brother Dickon. And as he's thinking about his brother Dickon, the memory of his brother, the Night's Watch brother, Maslin, hits him, who he heard pleading for mercy before being killed by a wight.
Did he actually think that pleading for mercy would help?
He's about to die. He's desperate, man.
Yeah, I guess.
Sam trips and falls hard, biting his tongue. And he realizes that what now that he's down on the ground, he's not going to get up, and he realizes that he's going to die. Someone
Yeesh.
tells him to get up as they walk past. Sam doesn't listen as he starts to embrace death. He thinks that he's done his duty, and he sent the letters to Castle Black and the Shadow Tower. He remembers what had happened when the 3 horn blasts woke him. He remembered the terror on Chet's face before he ran off.
Call back to the first chapter.
The very first.
Or like the prologue,
It was.
where Chet tried to stab Sam in the face.
And then kill Mormont.
That was the plan anyway.
He made his way to the Ravens. He had made his way to the Ravens, pulled out his pre-written letters of an attack, and sent a couple off, one to Castle Black and the other to the Shadow Tower.
And I thought it was very smart of him to pre-write the letters.
Yeah, I think so too.
Can you imagine in the middle of an attack trying to like sit down and write some shit?
Like the shaking of your hand. The
He actually tries to do that in a minute.
With his duty done, he had hung back and watched as the men shot arrows and screamed as the whites kept coming. The Lord Commander had sent him back to the Ravens because he was just in the way, and to be ready to send another letter. With the Ravens, Sam starts writing more letters, describing what is happening and with like random possible outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
He remembers hearing shrieks as some men saw a giant bear white. Giant bear, rotten away,
Horrifying.
attacking them. When he realized that the battle was lost, he opened the cages, but in such fear that he forgot to send out the letters as they all escaped. And then the whites are on them. He found himself running until somehow he found himself on a horse. And then, over the chaos, the Lord Commander called a retreat and they had to barrel through a line of whites who had just stood their ground. Sam spends his time with his eyes closed, sobbing into his horse as the horse does all of the work, getting them out. Once they reached the safety of the woods, a man, or brother, shoved him off of his horse and took off with it as Sam just lays on the ground weeping until
Fucking
Dolores
asshole.
Freaking dick. Probably one of the Sir Piggy men.
Oh, you're right. Like, couldn't you just like? I mean, a horse can carry 2 people, but I guess Sam's kind of big.
Sam's a biggie.
Yeah.
He's a big one. And that's the last of what he remembers at the fest. Are you still recording?
Yes. I've got my eye glued to the recording, but no.
A couple of men on horses ride past, and he stares at them longingly. He really wants to ride a horse and just go to sleep.
Right.
But horses are only for the injured.
Too fucking bad, Sam. Maybe you twist your ankle or something and then you can get a horse.
You purposely hurt yourself just to get a horse. He thinks about what a coward he is and how his father had always made him feel unworthy. And he wonders if his brother Dickon will shed a tear for him. Then he thinks that a coward is not worth tears. He tries to think of his mother and sister and even Gilly to comfort himself as he starts to fall asleep. Someone starts bugging Sam to get up and he realizes that it's Gren. Sam tries to assure him that everything's okay. He's just gonna take a small nap and catch up with them later.
Okay, dude.
Another man walks past and tells Gren to leave him, but Gren insists and starts kicking him hard, which hurts. And Sam thinks that he thought Gren was his friend. Like he feels betrayed by the kicks.
Aww. He's just trying to get him up.
And then suddenly someone picks Sam up.
What?
Like a little baby. There was like, what? That's still... Like, I had to read it. I had to read it again.
I was just
like,
gonna say
what?
that. I had to reread that line like 6 times. I was like,
No, what?
wait.
No. What?
Someone picked up Sam like he's a fucking sack of feathers.
Right. He looks up and it's Small Paul, who is one of Chet's men.
The dumb big boy.
The dumb biggie. Sam tries to tell Small Paul to just let him die, but Gren tells him to shut up and to think happy thoughts. Small Paul sadly says that Chet promised him the Lord Commander's raven and asks Sam if he could have one of his ravens, and Sam has to explain that they aren't his and they are all gone.
Mm.
The three of them start straggling behind until they no longer see the torches of their brothers. Small Paul reaches the end of his reserve of his strength and has to set Sam down. They hear a sound behind them and a horse steps out of the darkness, and Sam realizes it's dead.
Oh.
The rider has pale as ice.
Oh!
It's another.
The
other slides off the horse and it stands on top of the snow like an elf.
Legolas!
Legolas!
There's the reference. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha!
You good?
I don't know, man.
Small Paul is pissed because he recognizes the horse as one of theirs and he charges the other with his axe.
Good luck.
Sam's sword is missing. He lost it on the fist. He prays to the mother and he finds the dragon glass dagger in his pockets.
Okay.
The other effortlessly dodges Small Paul's attack and then impales Small Paul, killing him.
Oof.
But the other loses its grip on its sword as Small Paul falls.
I do feel bad for Small Paul. Like, he was so simple-minded. Like, he just wanted a bird.
He just wanted something to love.
Yeah. And maybe he would have done some, like, awful things to get it, but I feel like he can't really be blamed. Like, Chet was taking advantage of him.
Yeah.
Of his simple-mindedness. Yeah.
Simple man. Simple needs.
Yeah.
Sam screams at himself in his head to fight, but he hears Craven over and over in his head in his father's voice and in Sir Alistair Thorne's voice.
Fucking Alistair Thorne.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
And then, through those voices, he hears John's voice telling him to do it. Do it!
Just do it!
And he closes his eyes and stumbles forward with the dagger out in front of him and stabs the other in the neck with a crack. And it screams so shrilly that Sam stumbles backwards with his hands over his ears. The other melts as it tries to grab the dagger out, making its hands melt too.
Ooh.
Until only the dagger remains. Gren tries to pick it up, but it's so cold it burns him. So he has to pick it up using something. Perhaps his cloak.
Probably his cloak.
And then Sam tells him to keep it since he's not Craven. And Gren has to remind him that he just killed another.
Yeah. Bruh. Epic.
Dude, exactly.
Fucking, how do you get more badass?
How long has it been since someone's killed another?
Right?
He's the first one in thousands of years.
Holy. Sam. Taking the trophy.
Woohoo! Sam. Gren sees the sun rising through the trees and says that is the direction Mormont was heading, and to go that way. And Sam promises that he will try hard. That is that chapter.
Nice. So, how did we summarize this?
I was thinking about it earlier, and then it left my brain.
What did I say?
Oh, I mentioned how in the show it was different.
Oh, yeah. Explain that.
Well, in the show, it happens later on.
Right.
After some things that haven't happened yet.
Right.
And Sam is with Gilly and Gilly's son when it happens.
Right.
I kind of like it happening in front of Gren because I feel like another brother's is more credible than a wildling girl, I guess. It'll be easier for the Night's Watch to believe what he did instead of just being like, as if Sam.
Yeah, and also I think this is like more... I'm not a big fan of the idea that he only becomes brave because, like, he's protecting a girl.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like this idea that he does something brave because of himself. Like, Sure, maybe it's John's voice that
told her.
encourages him in his head, which is cute.
But it's
Um,
still his brain producing this thought.
it's him pushing himself. No one else
Yeah.
is pushing him, and I like
Uh-huh.
that better than the idea of him doing it to save somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Someone he's like got feelings for, I guess. So I do like this better.
I do like it better too.
I think one thing that I said was it makes me really sad that Sam thinks so lowly of himself
Yeah.
because of the way his father treated him.
I think
And
how he's treated by
oh,
most
now
men.
too, yeah. You're right. And I think that he's definitely not as craven as he thinks he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I said last time, he did his duty with the ravens, and he, in the midst of a battle, was like writing down all of these different
Yeah.
possible outcomes to send off with the birds. And sure, he forgot to send off the message, but he did write them in the middle of a battle when he could have just like dropped everything and ran.
Or like huddled in a corner and peed himself.
That's what a true coward would have done. He did his duty.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he forgot to do part of his duty, but he still like did it. He didn't do it because he didn't forget because he chose like not to do it because he was scared. He just forgot.
Yeah, he was in a panic.
Yeah,
Not everyone can think rationally when they're panicking.
exactly. So proud of Sam. I think that's a
Very
big moment for him.
Mm-hmm. Oakley dokley. Ready for Tyrion?
Yes, now some new stuff again. I am glad that I checked.
I mean,
That I checked the recording.
oh yeah, oh my god.
Can you imagine if we did the whole episode? Oh my god.
You would have checked up like, let's come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I would have been over it. I probably would have
Yeah.
like cried.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, thank God. At
Yeah.
least we got through one chapter.
I mean, it had to happen one day. I guess for our 98th episode. Damn.
Oof.
To get to almost 100 episodes without failing a recording is pretty good.
Okay. So this Tyrion chapter wasn't as bad as made out to be last time. It was I definitely judged it.
Yeah, because the whole thing is a
Basically, a
small council meeting.
All this talking, I'm out of here.
And it's a very long chapter.
It wasn't that bad. It was actually fairly interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
So,
Chapter
a small
19.
council. 19?
19. Tyrion.
Only?
Yeah.
All this is happening in the beginning of this freaking book. Okay, so a small council meeting is taking place. Contains Lord Tywin, Varys, Littlefinger, Cersei, Sir Kevin, Grand Maester Pycelle, Lord Mace Tyrell, Lord Paxter Redwine, and Lord Mathis Rowan. Rowan?
Sure.
Cersei wants to start with the wedding arrangements, but Tywin wants to talk of war first. Varys spills the tea. Lord Randall, I'm assuming Tarly, defeated Robert Glover. Robert
Glover.
Robert Glover in battle, sending him fleeing back to Harrenhal. Mathis Rowan asks about the Stark boys' movements, and Tywin tells everyone that he has left the castles he has taken and has returned to Riverrun. An army is congregating at Lannisport, and they plan to attack Riverrun as soon as Robb moves his army north, which they are assuming he's going to do, because it's the smart thing to do. Sir Kevin says that they have received a letter from Balon Greyjoy, who is calling himself King of the Isles and the North, and has offered terms of alliance.
Tywin's probably like rolling his eyes like this shit again.
It's like, I don't give a fuck. Tosses it behind him. But
Yeah.
Tywin doesn't care to ally with them, when they are already fighting the Starks on their own accord. So he's like, what do I get out of this? They're already fighting our enemies.
Yeah. So he's like, we would be losing our forces to help them? Like,
My ass.
I don't think so. They're already doing it, so. Good point, Tywin.
Lord Tywin says that they have to deal with Lysa Arryn. Tyrion wants to sort her out. He still gets nightmares of the Sky Cells.
Ooh. Yeah, can someone please deal with Lysa Arryn?
Uh-huh.
She's so
Lord
annoying.
Like, stop breastfeeding your kid. He's old.
No, it's just like the trying to hide from everything and not doing anything.
Yeah, she's a little bit crazy.
It's like at this point I'm even like, yeah, Tywin, let him get in there and do something. Because I'm just so done with her.
Lord Tywin says that he has another task for Tyrion. He said he's going to send Peter to her instead. Littlefinger says he has the key to the Eyrie between his legs, and his plan is to woo and win Lysa without spilling any blood.
Okay.
Tywin then tells Tyrion that he will be replacing Peter as Master of Coin.
Okay.
They then move on to the wedding.
Wait. So this, I don't know, is this something that happens at this point in the chapter, or does this come later when Tyrion like thinks about this is why Littlefinger wanted Harrenhal?
Remember that part?
Okay, so Tyrion thinks, or he realizes, I guess, that this is the reason that Littlefinger wanted to be Lord of Harrenhal, because with that title, he's now like a higher born or higher lord than his lowborn status. So now he can wed Lysa Arryn without it being like fucking weird and fucked up. Like it would be a benefit to her now.
Yeah.
Because he's Lord of Harrenhal. Yeah. So yeah, that was his intention this whole time, to get Harrenhal so he could get Lysa Arryn so he could get the veil.
Yeah.
Like this motherfucker. He's like 10 moves ahead.
His way up.
He's playing 40 chess.
Yeah. Tyrion is very sus of Littlefinger. He's not cool with it at all.
Yeah.
He's to himself.
Yeah.
So far.
Indeed.
The wedding. They plan on feeding 1,000 in the throne room and many more outside in the yards. 300 Dornish men are making their way to King's Landing for the wedding. Mace Tyrell seems offended that they're going to travel through his lands without asking, but Tywin tells him to suck it up. Apparently, the High Gardeners and the Dornish do not get along due to their borders being there and like tippy toes across the border to put each other off.
Yeah, because I think Dorne used to like not be a thing.
They were their own little place with their own rules and shit until the Targaryens came and took it all. United them all.
Right.
Yeah, like the 7 kingdoms of Westeros that the Targaryens united into one giant kingdom.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me quickly look at the map. I want to see where their borders kind of...
I think it's like right beside High Garden. Like they're right there.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So Dorne is like blocked off from the rest of the kingdom by High Garden, pretty much. Or the High Garden lands, anyway.
High Garden lands.
Tyrell lands, I mean.
Yeah.
So they would have to travel right through there to get to King's Landing. But like, they were invited to King's Landing, and Lord Tyrell is like, why didn't they ask me permission? They were invited by the king, you little bitch.
Exactly.
The fuck?
And then Lord Kevin reminds Mace that they will all become one big family now when Marjorie and Joffrey get married and Myrcella marries Prince Trystane. So the Dornish and the High Gardeners are now going to become family.
True.
through marriage. So he has to freaking suck it up big time.
Yeah.
Lord Tywin starts dividing the fruits of victory.
They haven't even won and they're dividing the fruits of victory.
They are claiming the lands of the lords who fought and died alongside Stannis. So they're taking their lands.
Wait. Do they think Stannis is dead or do they know he's alive?
Stannis lost the battle, so the lords that died in this battle are their keeps and their lands are being taken and distributed amongst the winners.
I understand that much, but do they think Stannis is
I
alive?
have no idea. All they know is that there's talk of Renly's ghost killing it. So I don't know if they truly believe that or not.
Because that's what I remembered. But then when I read this chapter, it sounded like they knew Stannis was alive. So I was like,
Maybe they do.
wait, do they know or do they not know? Do they think he's dead or do they know he's... I think they think... I think they know he's alive.
Elaborate. Yeah, they probably do.
I think they know he's alive. Because if they don't find the body, why would you assume that he's dead, right?
Exactly. If Varys doesn't say so, then it's not so.
Yeah.
Highgarden gets the most, and they distribute the rest amongst the other lords who have been fighting for the Lannisters. Lord Redwine, however, only asks for 30 years of no taxes on his wine, which he gets. Varys has some more random reports. A true kraken had been seen off the Fingers, which is on the other side of the map of where the Greyjoys are. The Fingers.
Right.
That's where Littlefinger is from. The little one.
Indeed.
There's a new war between the Tyrosh and the Lys, I think.
Are those a couple of the slave cities?
No, but I think it's definitely in Essos. It's over there.
Yeah, it's in Essos for sure. Okay.
And then a 3-headed dragon has hatched in Karth. Aww.
Oh?
Aww.
I think his information's a little skewed, but...
A little.
But it's got the general idea.
Yeah. It's like the game of telephone.
Yeah, exactly. So, Dany traveled through Karth with her dragons. Yeah. So they're clearly talking about 3 dragons, but maybe like through translation or something.
As the word slowly heads towards Westeros, it turned into 3-headed dragon.
Yeah, instead of 3 dragons. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
It is. Lord Tywin is not interested in that rubbish. Sir Kevin says that some Golden Cloak deserters had come back to resume their duties.
What?
Whoa, these guys have balls.
Yeah.
Cersei wants them put to death. Varys wants to send them to the Night's Watch due to the disturbing messages they have been getting. Lord Tywin says that they will have their knees smashed with hammers to serve as a lesson never to run from battle.
Damn.
Tyrion tries to sway his father, like, let's break some of their knees, but the rest go to the Night's Watch, which is grievously under strength.
Mm-hmm.
But Lord Tywin thinks it'll be a good thing if wildlings come south of the wall, because it'll distract the northerners.
Oh my god.
Yup, so he does not give a fuck about the Night's Watch.
He's only thinking about wildlings, though. He has no idea about the others.
Of course not. No one does. They're, Grumpkins and... I don't know.
Grumpkins works.
And that's it. Everyone's dismissed except for Tyrion, Cersei, and Kevin, whom Tywin wants to talk to privately.
Ooh.
Tyrion asks whose idea was it to make him master of coin, and apparently it was Peter's grand idea.
Oh, okay.
Tywin, though, thinks it's a good idea to have the treasury in the hands of a Lannister.
Okay.
Tyrion doesn't trust Littlefinger. He thinks it's a trap.
Smart.
Cersei and Tyrion bicker a little until Tywin tells him to shut the fuck up and act like goddamn Lannisters for once. Sir Kevin says that he approves of Littlefinger's marriage to Lysa Arryn and that he's constantly proving his loyalty for them. For example, he had recently informed them of a Tyrell plot to marry Sansa to Lord Willis.
No!
Thanks, Littlefinger.
They fucking know!
Snitch. Tyrion finds it interesting that it was Littlefinger and not Varys who brought word. Do you think Varys knew, but was like, get her the fuck out of here?
I think
with the plot to get her out.
Varys serves the kingdom. So, what would be most beneficial for the actual kingdom? Not for any particular family, but for the kingdom. For Sansa to be there, or for Sansa to get away?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks the Starks are beneficial to the kingdom.
I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Maybe Tyrion isn't concerned about Littlefinger being the one bringing the news because he thinks Varys kept it a secret, but because maybe Littlefinger organized this plot.
As motive?
No, like maybe he organized this plot. Maybe he suggested to the Tyrells that they take Sansa.
I believe that. Yep.
That sounds like something he would do. And then he would go back to the Lannisters and be like, oh, I heard about this, to make them trust him and trust the Tyrells less.
Oh my gosh. I can see him doing that.
Yeah, that sounds more like a Littlefinger plot to me.
That sounds exactly like
Remember, this guy's 30 moves ahead.
Yup. Cersei is pissed. Sansa is her hostage. She doesn't go anywhere without Cersei's permission. Tywin points out that if Lord Tyrell asks him, he would be compelled to say yes, because saying no would be the same as saying that he does not trust him, which would be the same as declaring war.
Ask him what? Just for clarification.
Asks him if he can take Sansa to Highgarden.
Wait, can you say the whole sentence again?
Tywin points out that if Lord Tyrell asks him if Sansa can be taken to Highgarden for a visit, quotation, that he would be compelled to say yes, because saying no would be the same as saying that he does not trust the Tyrells.
Right.
Which would be the same as declaring war on them.
Okay,
so
got
he would
it.
have to say yes. To
right.
keep their friendship or their partnership going.
Mm-hmm.
Cersei doesn't give a fuck, and even Tyrion can see she's being a real dumbass. He tries to sweetly explain to her that they need the Tyrells, and that 75% of their forces belong to the Tyrells.
Oh, shit. They do need the Tyrells.
Lord Tywin says that they must forestall them, starting with Cersei, who is to marry Lord Willis.
That's the guy that Sansa's supposed to marry.
Yeah. Cersei refuses. She's like, never again.
Oh.
Never. Sir Kevin tries to kindly explain how she is still young and fertile, and that it would put the incest rumors to rest. Tywin tells her that it's her job to put an end to this disgusting slander and to breed and have more children, because she's a woman, and that's the honorable thing for proper ladies to do, I guess.
Yep, it's your duty.
Get married and pump out the babies until they die. He tells her that she is his daughter and she'll do as he bids.
Obviously a lot of that is like sexist and gross, but at the same time I like seeing Cersei like just stripped of her power and have someone else like tell her what's what. It's satisfying.
Cersei keeps refusing and gets more and more upset. Tyrion has a hard time suppressing a grin at her expense. It must be very enjoyable for him to see this and to smile and find it amusing, because I'm sure he also knows something's coming for him. Like, he too has a duty.
Oh yeah, that's why he's there.
Even though he's like, fuck, but he's still finding it super amusing to watch his sister in pain.
Yeah.
He reminds her that Willis is a cripple. Just for, I guess, shits and giggles. He's like, oh, by the way, sister.
Yeah, and isn't the Red Viper the one who crippled Willis?
Oberyn Martell?
Yeah, from Dorne. Yes. Fun fact that we learn in this chapter.
Joust. And Tywin freezes Tyrion solid with a cold look as he reminds them that Willis is heir to Highgarden, which is a nice slab of land. Tyrion starts to feel kind of bad for Cersei.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, God, should I feel bad for her? Or should I feel happy that she's suffering? Oh, God.
Right.
Tywin tells Cersei that she does not want to marry Willis. She needs to give a good reason. And Cersei changes her tune. She tells her father how kind he is to be thinking of her future at such a time, and asks permission to think about it for a few days and asks to leave. Tywin grants her request and she sweeps from the room. Tywin then turns to Tyrion, who is like, I guess I'm getting married to Sansa, right? And Tywin tells him that it'll be improper for Mace Tyrell to broach the topic of Sansa before the king's wedding. So he says the plan is to marry Tyrion to Sansa before the wedding.
Ooh.
Tyrion thinks that it is unnecessarily cruel to marry him to Sansa after what the Lannisters, mostly Joffrey, have done to her. Tywin doesn't care. He says this is the reward that Tyrion has been asking for. He can have North. Tyrion is appalled because Sansa is far too young for him. He's disgusted at the idea of what's the proper way?
Consummating their marriage.
Consummating their marriage. Disgusted. She's just a child. Tywin says that if he will not marry her, then he will give her to one of his cousins. He and Sir Kevin start listing off who they can marry her to, as Tyrion, who knows that they're just doing this to make him agree, starts thinking about Sansa. Tywin tells him that he had initially offered him to Dorne, but they had taken that as an insult.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, houses across Westeros have been refusing Tyrion as a marriage prospect, and Tywin had been stooping lower and lower. Sansa is the best that Tyrion will ever get. Tywin tells Tyrion that if he will not marry Sansa, he will choose the lowest lordling daughter to marry him to and ship him off there. And apparently Lady Tanda has offered lollies. Whoops. Tyrion's like, okay, hell no. He says he would prefer a wife who wants him in her bed. Tywin's like, that's not what marriage is.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Tywin says again that he will never have Casterly Rock, but Winterfell is the best castle he can hope to get. Tyrion reminds him of Robb, but Tywin tells him that Robb Stark had broken his vow to the Freys and married a lower-born lady, which the Freys had taken as a huge insult, and that his downfall is starting now. And Tyrion is shocked. He cannot believe that Robb Stark broke his vow.
Yeah.
That's not very Stark-like. Sir Kevin explains that Robb had deflowered the girl, and he chose her honor over his and married her. Tyrion is like, ugh, idiot. That it would have been kind to her to leave her with a bastard in her belly, because now her entire house is fucked. They're certain that Robb is going down, and everyone who sided with him will be named traitor.
Yep.
Tywin, I think Tywin or Tyrion start. I don't think I kind of understood this. Like, if it was a story or something, or a letter, a story about the letter, that something Tywin does when a house is about to fall. He apparently sends a letter. No, apparently instead of sending a letter, he sends an envoy bearing loot, in which the song "The Rains of Castamere" silences their enemies for good.
Hold on, let me read this paragraph really quick. Maybe I'll just read it out loud.
Aye.
This Westerling betrayal did not seem to have enraged his father as much as Tyrion would have expected. Lord Tywin did not suffer disloyalty in his vassals. He had extinguished the proud Rains of Castamere and the ancient Tarbecks of Tarbeck Hall, root and branch, when he was still half a boy. The singers had even made a rather gloomy song of it. Some years later, when Lord Farman of Faircastle grew truculent, Lord Tywin sent an envoy bearing a lute instead of a letter. But once he'd heard the Rains of Castamere echoing through his hall, Lord Farman gave no further trouble, and if the song were not enough, the shattered castles of the Rains and Tarbeck still stood as mute testimony to the fate that awaited those who chose to scorn the power of Casterly Rock. The crag is not so far from Tarbeck Hall and Castamere, Tyrion pointed out. You'd think the Westerlings might have ridden past and seen the lesson there. Mayhaps they have, Lord Tywin said. They are well aware of Castamere, I promise you. Could the Westerlings and Spicers be such great fools as to believe the wolf can defeat the lion? Every once in a very long while, Lord Tywin Lannister would actually threaten to smile. He never did, but the threat alone was terrible to behold. The greatest fools are ofttimes more clever than the men who laugh at them, he said. And then, you will marry Sansa Stark, Tyrion, and soon. Okay, so he's not doing anything, but Tyrion is, like, recalling how Tywin has put other lords in check before. Like, with the Rains of Castamere and the Tarbecks, he destroyed those houses and their, like, strongholds. And then when Lord Farman of Faircastle was acting up, Lord Tywin just sent an envoy to sing that song, The Rains of Castamere, to remind Lord Farman of what Tywin will do if he keeps acting like a traitor.
I think it wasn't there to remind that last guy that he was silenced for good. Do you know of the song The Rains of Castamere? Ring a bell?
Yeah, I've heard it in the Game of Thrones soundtrack, but I have to disagree because it says, but once he'd heard the Rains of Castamere echoing through his hall, Lord Farman gave no further trouble.
Yeah, because he died.
Where does it say he died?
The Rains of Castamere. It's the song they play before a house gets wiped out.
Yeah, so I think he just played it as a threat. It doesn't say anywhere that...
I personally am under the assumption that this is a song that's played when a house is wiped out. Or when someone is being wiped out. For good. Because it's the song.
Yeah, but I think that Tywin was just using it as a threat.
I personally don't think Tywin threats. Agree to disagree?
I guess. To me, it seems pretty clear that it was a threat, but alright. It also says, if the song were not enough, the shattered castles of the Rains and Tarbeck still stood as mute testimony to the fate that awaited those who chose to scorn the power of Casterly Rock. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I guess, but like when the song played at the Red Wedding, it wasn't a threat. It was a bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. But that was... I mean, Tywin would have no benefit to allowing that family to live versus the Faircastles. Like, we don't know what they were doing.
No, we don't know anything about the Faircastles.
No. So,
Later on.
To me, it sounds like it says he sent an envoy bearing a lute instead of a letter. Yeah, I don't know. Like, we don't know if anything came after that.
No.
Some envoy with a lute isn't going to wipe out this entire family.
Real that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's possible, but to me it sounds like it was just a threat. And then he, like, started Lord Farman. Started behaving properly again. Because he was frightened by the song.
Because he knows what it means.
Exactly. That's what I gather from it, but I could be wrong. Anyway, that's that. And I think we actually need to end this episode here.
Oh, dang.
Especially because it's 8 o'clock and I haven't eaten dinner.
Jesus Christ, right?
Alright, so maybe I'll just do a quick work update since I said that I would in the next episode, which is this episode.
Okay.
it's cool. So I basically answer phones and transfer them to the proper departments, and just like remind departments about like messages that they need to reply to online as well. So a lot of my job is just like telling other people to do their job.
Oh, sounds like an assistant.
Which is interesting.
What's your job title? Assistant?
Customer service representative parentheses call agent.
Okay.
It's good, and I feel like I have a good grasp of what I'm doing already.
Good.
Yeah, but also a lot of the time I'm like don't have anything to do.
Oh.
Which makes, because like no one's calling, like I've done all the reminders already, and like there's nothing else. So when those moments roll around, I'm kind of like, am I missing something? Am I supposed to be doing something else at this point? Or do I just sit here and wait to like get a message or a phone call?
Yeah.
So that part is like kind of interesting.
That will put me in a panic. I hate it when I'm like, I'm new at a job and I'm like, fuck, what do I do now? What do I do?
Yeah, like a lot of the time I feel like I'm just clicking back and forth between different tabs on my computer. Just like waiting for something to happen.
So maybe you can ask your supervisor, manager, what you should do during downtimes.
Yeah, the last time I saw him was Thursday, because he had Friday and Saturday off. So Friday and Saturday I was just kind of on my own with the help of like the other people in my department, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But on Thursday he like had me watch a video on one task and was like, we'll go over this more when I like see you next. And I was like, cool. And then like Friday I just kind of did my own thing, like the stuff that I already knew how to do. And then on Saturday, one of the other people in my department showed me how to do the thing that I think is what he wanted to show me after watching the video.
Okay.
And it was like a billion times simpler than I thought it was going to be. Like it was like when she was done showing me, I was literally like, oh, that's it? So I don't know for sure that that's the entirety of what he wanted to show me in regards to that certain task, but it seems like it is. So I mean, I'll find out tomorrow, I guess, when I go back to work. But yeah, it's like I'm getting paid better to do way less than I was doing at my last job.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, it's cool so far. Everyone's really nice. I guess the worst part of it, I guess I could say, would be the phone system isn't perfect.
Oh.
So like sometimes a customer will call like the service department of the Edmonton store or something. So if the service department there doesn't answer, then the call will bounce to me. Because I'm like the receptionist or whatever. And then they'll be like, I'll like answer the phone and then they'll start talking about like the service they need. And I'll be like, oh, sorry, let me transfer you over to service. And they're like, oh, okay, I thought this was service. And I'm like, oh, this is just reception. I'll transfer you to service. So then I transfer them to the service department. And then if they don't answer again, it comes back to me again.
Oof.
So then the same customer is like, what the fuck's going on? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, most of them are like super understanding about it and whatever, but I've had a few people already be like, what the fuck is this phone system? Like, what is this?
Sorry, man, I just work here.
Yeah. But I just ended up like taking a message for them and having that department call them back. So it's like good. They get called back pretty quick and it's like not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I can see why it gets frustrating for the customers.
Yeah, I'd get frustrated.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like the worst part of it so far, and it's like not even bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's cool.
Nice.
Everyone there is super nice, super friendly.
Very cool.
Yeah. And there's like free lunches on Saturdays, which is sick.
Oh.
Like on
shit.
Saturday, I walk into the lunchroom and they have like butter chicken and rice and
Whoa.
pita bread there, and I just served myself and ate. It was nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Sweet.
That is my work update. Did you have any quick updates before we end this?
No. Not really.
Okay, I just finished my tea. Have you registered for your vaccine yet?
No.
You should do that. It takes like 2 seconds.
I have forgotten about that.
Yeah. I sent you the link. It's not going to like give you a appointment date or whatever, but it just
It
registers you so that...
me?
Sorry?
It's just gonna register me so that they see me?
Yeah, so that they have you in the system so that when they have an appointment date, they can contact you.
Oh fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it takes 2 seconds to register, so you should just do it
Hell
real
yeah.
quick. Yeah. So that's it for this episode. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at TIGBAB Podcast, or you can follow us separately. My handle is Crimby, Jess's is just.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search TIGBAB Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we should show up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Bahrami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle, which you heard at the start of this episode, and he's a really cool guy and makes dope stuff, so check him out. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We have a few different tea-themed tiers with fun rewards, such as behind-the-scenes content, outtakes, and mini-episodes in which we force our brother to watch Game of Thrones, which he hates. So you will be getting something in return for your contribution, and you'd also be helping us improve the podcast with better equipment. But we also just appreciate you listening. And please don't forget to share the podcast with your family and your friends. It is the best way for us to grow. Thank you so much for listening, and sorry for the
Pissed off Sam chapter.
very pissed off me at the beginning of this episode. All right, I have to pee really bad. I'm gonna go.
Same.
Okay, bye. Thanks for listening. Bye.